We have talked quite a bit actually about validation and what it means to seek validation, when it can be a good thing, when it can be used as a source of motivation to really go after your dreams and your goals and achieve things, and when seeking validation becomes problematic to you because it leads you down paths where you realize that you're just doing certain things in your life, you're going after certain goals just to seek that validation. Whereas we're talked about healthy validation, which is more of just kind of using the validation that you get from your achievements as more of fuel to continue you doing what you want to do and going on your path rather than seeking out validation to give meaning and purpose to your life. So that's what I want to talk about in this episode because what I have noticed, especially from my own journey of my life over the last 15 years, I would say, or maybe all my life, but I think we're always kind of having a need to be validated as humans, and we always need that kind of external praise and external showing of love towards us where we can kind of provide purpose in our lives and makes us feel important and seen and heard and valued, right? And that's kind of what validation does for us. And from my own journey of exploring this area of my life when it comes to seeking validation and exploring my own journey and kind of self reflecting and seeing the places where I have constantly craved validation has really kind of helped me be less desperate in life in general, be more loving towards myself, being more kind to myself, and building a life that I'm truly proud of, regardless of what it looks like to the external world. So, welcome to the Mindset Mentress podcast. This is episode 34. And this episode, I'm going to teach you how to validate yourself because I'm not going to tell you validation completely is not important, but I'm going to tell you how you can give it to yourself, especially when you really, really, really need it. And there are times in life when we just are in the dumps and we just want someone to look at us and tell us that we matter. And sometimes we don't have that, and we're not always going to have that. I mean, think about the lowest times in your life. You're probably alone. You're probably in bed crying, or you're in the shower, or you're by yourself and you don't have that immediate source of importance that you need, and that's the time when you need to give it to yourself. And that's so important because that will set you up and your entire life and the trajectory of your life if you do it right. So welcome to the episode. I'm so happy that you're here, and let's get into it. First, let's talk about what validation is, okay? Like we briefly touched upon, validation is the need to be seen, to be heard, to be authenticated, to be valued, to be witnessed in your life. Okay? A lot of the times we crave validation externally from other people because we don't see it within ourselves and we don't have it within ourselves, or we don't believe ourselves enough that we matter. Okay? So that's why a lot of times we look externally for other people to tell us. I saw this really interesting thing on a TikTok video and I was like, wow, this makes so much sense. And I think he was talking about a famous philosopher and how they built this idea about getting to know yourself, okay? So this actually starts out in 3 stages. The first stage is when you have no belief in yourself and you're looking all around, looking externally for people to tell you that you're great, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you are successful, and all these other nice things, okay? And we look externally for other people to tell us that because we don't believe in ourselves, okay? And then once we kind of build enough evidence from other people that are giving us positive reinforcement and positive praise, which is so important. I mean, that's why you need to have a really good community of people around you who believe in you, because sometimes we just don't have it in ourselves to believe in ourselves, and that's when we need people around us to tell us that, okay? And that's all part of this journey of you self-developing and progressing in this journey of life. So the first stage is that. The first stage is you're looking around for people to tell you that they believe in you. Then you get enough evidence within yourself And then the stage 2 is that you start believing in yourself. Okay? You start believing that you are great, you are amazing, you are adding value to the world, you are bringing value to people, you are of service, you are beautiful, you are smart, you are intelligent. You believe all these things about yourself. And this is great. And this is a really, really great, powerful place to be. And it's a really great place where you will probably go through your life building some really amazing, cool things. And it's amazing, right? The third stage of this, which is the most powerful place any human being can be at, but I don't think all humans get to. And that is the space of, which is stage 3, which is you know yourself. You don't just believe in yourself anymore. You know yourself. And there's a difference between believing and knowing. You can believe in yourself that you are an amazing person, and then you can know yourself that you are an amazing person. You don't just believe, you know it from every cell of your body. And this is really important in our discussion when it comes to validation, because once you get to that stage of really knowing who you are, nothing can shake you. So at this point, you just know who you are, that regardless of positive praise or negative praise, you kind of take both with the same value. Neither positive or negative really will shake anything within you because you know who you are. Okay? And when it comes to validation specifically, when you're at this place where you just know yourself, you're not going to really require validation from other people. You don't really need anyone else to tell you that you're important or that you matter or that you're beautiful or loving, smart, kind, successful. So in these 3 stages, you may be either in stage 1 or stage 2. If you're in stage 3, I highly doubt that you're probably tuning into this podcast episode, because I don't think when you get to a place of truly knowing yourself, you're going to want to learn how to validate yourself. So most of us, if you're still here, you're probably in stage 1 or stage 2, and that's amazing. I mean, it takes a huge amount of self-awareness to even get to tuning into this episode and realizing that you are a human being. And as human beings are, we need validation and we need to be told that we matter. And if you don't know that yet, which you will get to, I promise you, you will get to that place where you just know it and you know who you are and you don't need anyone else to tell you that. Most people are in stage 1 and stage 2. And if you are in stage 1 and stage 2, you are almost at stage 3. The key is to catch yourself and know when it is that you are seeking validation, and bring that awareness and build that awareness into understanding where it is that you are seeking validation. So then you don't seek it anymore. You learn to come in and give it to yourself. So let's talk about how to catch yourself seeking validation. When is it in different instances in your life that you seek validation? And then we'll go into how people seek validation. We tend to seek validation when we don't really believe certain things about ourselves. So an example of this, which kind of goes into the how we seek validation as well. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about how it is that we seek validation, because I think the when and the how kind of go hand in hand. So we'll talk about the when, and then I'll give you an example of the how. So when we're not feeling really truly beautiful, okay, and when you don't truly feel beautiful, that's when we will seek externally to be told that we are beautiful. Okay, so how we do this, sometimes this could look like posting a picture on Instagram, posting like a thirst trap, or posting a really hot picture that you know is going to get a lot of attention. Okay, and I'm not saying that this is wrong or bad. There's no shame, none of that. This is just to bring to your awareness how we as human beings tend to seek validation and tend to seek attention. Okay, so when you're not really feeling beautiful, or you're not really feeling like you're getting any attention in your life, or you're just alone and you just want to feel seen, we will go on Instagram and post a picture. And sometimes it's a really sexy picture that you know is going to get a lot of likes and comments and DMs or whatever, right? And that's because you want to just feel seen in that moment. There's one thing to post for yourself, and there's another thing to post for attention. And if you sit with yourself and really ask yourself, am I really posting this for attention, or am I posting this because I'm truly just having fun and I want to just post it? And you will know the difference, because when you're just posting it for yourself, you're not going to be sitting there looking at who's liking it, or looking at like how many likes it gets, and like, constantly refreshing your notifications to like see who liked it and how many likes it gets. Like, you're not going to be doing that when you're truly just posting a picture for yourself. But when you're posting it for validation, you tend to sit there and like kind of just dwell on it and just take up all the time looking at that picture and like tracking the likes and comments and all of that. So that's one way of why we seek and how we seek validation. Another version of this is we tend to seek validation when we want someone to tell us that we've done something that we're really proud of. Okay, so this could be like a job promotion, for example. And I'm not saying you shouldn't share good news with anyone, but I'm just telling you that these are certain ways that you can train yourself to start validating yourself. Okay, so for example, let's say that you got a job promotion and you're just so excited about it, you're just so happy about it, but you want your significant other to tell you that they're proud of you, or you want your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your husband, or your parents even. I mean, we tend to seek a lot of validation from our parents. I mean, I think that could be a whole episode on its own. But in that moment, when you find out that you got a promotion, you run to the phone and you call these people and you text them, and you're just waiting for them to tell you, congratulations, I'm so proud of you, I knew you would be able to do it, I know you're this, I know you're that. And you're just kind of so excited by all these people congratulating you. And that is a form of feeding your need for that validation. And like I said, I'm not telling you don't share good news. Of course you should share good news, and it's part of the human experience and all of that. But this is a key moment where, let's say you hear good news, just sit with yourself. Sit with yourself and tell yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. You can do this in your head, or you could just go in your car and do it, speak it out loud in the car. Talk to yourself, or look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you are proud of yourself, and tell yourself that you deserve this promotion because you've been working so hard, and because you've put in the work for it, and you've done everything that you can to set yourself up for this level of success. Have that first level, that first conversation with yourself, and validate yourself first. Feel all those feel good feelings with the conversation that you're having with yourself first, and then go and share it with people. Okay? So it's just training your brain in small ways. When you have good news, or when you have even when you have a really cute, hot picture, I mean, you spend time with looking at that picture. Like, for example, like I've done that quite a bit, where I'll take a really, really nice photo of myself, and I'll just like look at my own picture and be like, wow, this is like such a great picture. And I'll just enjoy the picture like for myself, and then I'll post it, and sometimes, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm human. I track the likes and stuff like that, but I have that first layer of conversation that I have is with myself. It's with photos, with promotions, with good news, whatever it may be, right? Even if I'm going to the gym and I have like a really good run or like a really good workout and I'm so proud of myself, I take that moment to sit with myself or look at myself in the mirror and say that I'm so proud of you. Okay, I am so proud of you that you put yourself out there today. I am so proud of you that you got yourself out of bed to make your way to that gym and give that workout 100%. Have those conversations with yourself on a consistent basis, so it is actually you that starts to validate yourself after a point where the outside praise doesn't really matter as much anymore. Okay, like your entire source of happiness doesn't come from other people telling you that you're great. It comes from this internal place of you believing that you're great, and then the later part of that is just you just knowing that you're great. And there's nothing narcissistic about this. There's nothing selfish or self-serving about this. This is about you truly loving who you are. This is about you truly being so in love with this life that you have been gifted by the universe, and you working with this life to generate that joy within you. You truly become a powerhouse you know. You as an individual, as a being, become your own powerhouse. You become this generator of fulfillment and peace and calm and love and all of this within you. And that's why we need to learn how to validate ourselves, because a large part of our lives, guess what, we are going to be alone. Okay, a large part of our lives is going to be spent in a lot of moments when we are by ourselves and when we are in the shower or when we're driving. There's so many moments in life when you are going to be alone. And in those alone moments, you have to really enjoy who you are. You have to really love who you are and truly just, like I said, be a force of nature. And only when you are at this place of true fulfillment from within, you will get all these brilliant ideas. And I kind of think of it as like you channeling ideas. And like I've said it in so many different podcast episodes and reels and social media posts in the past, where ideas come to you when you are open to them. Okay. And when you are this generator of happiness and fulfillment and just love for yourself, when you are able to validate yourself, you just like open yourself up to the universe to just flow ideas through you. And you don't just sit there with those ideas, you actually have energy to follow through and do something about those ideas. And that's the place you want to be, right? You want to be at a place where you have so much belief in yourself and you have so much knowing within yourself, because you validate yourself and because you have given yourself that place on that pedestal, that you actually not just sit there when you get an idea, or you don't just sit there with self-doubt and confusion. You actually do the thing that you need to do with confidence to get you to where you want to go. And sometimes there's no clear path, and sometimes I know there's no clarity, but that's where life is built. Life is built in the every single day, in the small moments. It's the small ideas. I mean, of course, you're going to have big ideas, but you can't just have a big idea and then figure out what the small steps are going to be. If you don't have that confidence, you cannot take those little steps, because you're going to think that they don't matter, but they matter. You matter. And because you matter, now you have being given this fuel to empower yourself to make those little steps. And that's how you change your life, little by little, step by step. You'll be surprised where it leads you. Okay. And even if it doesn't lead you somewhere big or somewhere grandiose, it will lead you to where you need to be in your journey, and you will be able to find peace and fulfillment in that journey. When you validate yourself, you no longer are one looking externally for praise or attention or this need to be seen. When you validate yourself, you actually also stop looking externally at what everyone else is doing. Okay, and this is actually also one of the big reasons why you need to start validating yourself, because when you validate yourself, you believe in yourself, and then you know yourself, you know that your path and your journey is completely different from everyone else's path and everyone else's journey. Everyone's here for a different purpose, and we have no idea what their past is, and we don't know what their future is, and you definitely don't know what their present behind the scenes are. So you stop comparing yourself to people, you stop competing with people, you stop trying to bring other people down, you stop wanting to send bad energy, and you want to stop gossiping about people, because you realize that all of that is just kind of taking away from your energy. And when you validate yourself and you get to know yourself, you are just a force on your own, and you actually kind of have a lot of gratitude for other people, and you have a lot of empathy and compassion for other people, because you know that everyone is on this journey in this crazy roller coaster of a life, and that's okay. And that's what makes us all human. When you know how to validate yourself and you consistently practice it, and I'm going to tell you that this is a practice. This is more than, I'm going to tell you right now, this is more than you just looking in the mirror and giving yourself affirmations. This is about you truly feeling it while you're looking at the mirror and giving yourself affirmations. It's not some kind of ritual you need to practice. This is a consistent shift in your mindset, a consistent shift in your internal being. And it's a consistent amount of effort you have to put into this validation. And you need to consistently show up for yourself, and you have to do the hard things, and you have to do the difficult things. You have to look at yourself, you have to look at your shadows, you have to look at, why am I craving attention? Okay, am I craving attention right now because I'm lonely? Am I craving attention right now because I never got it when I was a child? Or am I craving attention right now because I just need someone to tell me that they're proud of me because I don't believe that I'm proud of myself? These are questions you have to ask yourself. Bring self-awareness into everything that you do, because when we don't have self-awareness and we are seeking validation externally, it makes us desperate. Okay, it makes, and people can tell. People can tell, I think, especially on social media, people can tell when you're just looking for attention. People can tell when you are seeking validation. People can tell when you are, ready to just do anything for their approval. Men that you date, okay, when it comes to dating and relationships, men can tell when you are someone that just needs their validation. Men can tell when, you get really anxious when they don't text you back, and, you just need them to validate you in that moment. Men can tell. Women can tell, people can tell when you're just desperate and seeking validation. So be mindful, bring awareness into your actions. Know how powerful you are. Don't be desperate. Have standards. Stick to those standards. And build this level of consistency. And when you start to validate yourself, you'll start loving yourself, and you'll start looking at yourself in a brand new kind of light. You're not a princess anymore. You'll become a queen. I actually saw a really interesting quote, and I'm going to find it on Instagram. I saved it a few moments ago. It basically talked about queen energy versus princess energy. It talked about princess energy versus queen energy. And I thought it was really, really beautiful. So I'm going to just talk about a few of the carousel post slides. Let me just pull it up. All right, so here we go. This was by Snakes and Roses. That's the page. And so the princess would say, she's my competition, whereas the queen would say, she's my inspiration. Okay? A princess would say, I don't need anyone, but a queen will say, I grow in community. A princess would say, I need to be perfect. A queen would say, I love being authentic. A princess would say, I want to be chosen. A queen would say, it's an honor to have me. See, you can't get to this place, of a queen mindset if you don't know how to validate yourself. Okay, what I just said, right? A princess would say, I want to be chosen, right? A princess would want to look out at other people to say that you are beautiful and I choose you. Versus a queen has this knowing that it would be an honor for other people to have her. Okay, again, it's a knowing because she has worked on herself and she has validated herself, and she knows who she is. So she knows that it's an honor to have her. And if you're a guy watching this, you're a king. You should know that you have so much strength within you that anyone to be in your presence, it would be an honor. Okay? A princess would say, I hope everyone likes me. This is perfect. This just goes perfectly with the conversation. A princess would say, I hope everyone likes me. A queen would say, I am not for everyone. Look at that. A queen would say, I am not for everyone. That is huge. Oh my goodness. I feel like I could do a whole episode about this. But one of the things that you're going to learn in this journey towards finding yourself and being the most authentic version of yourself is realizing that not everybody is going to like you. You're not going to be for everyone. And why do you even want to be for everyone? Because to be for everyone means you have to be so diluted. You're not going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to like you. I mean, you don't even like everyone. So why would everyone like you? So a princess would say, I hope everyone likes me. That's when she's looking outside for validation of, do you like me? Do you like me? Versus a queen just is herself in her most authentic expression of herself and just knows that she's not for everyone. And not everyone's going to like her, and that's okay. A princess would say, I want to fit in. Whereas a queen would say, I find where I belong. I've actually made a post about this in the past. I think it was a TikTok or a reel or both. I think I've said this before, where you're not meant to fit in, okay? And when you start validating yourself, you're going to realize that you are so much happier when you're just being authentic. And when you're authentic, you don't want to cut yourself down, dim yourself, and fit into a specific mold. Rather, you just want to be the fullest expression of yourself, and you want to find places where you belong. And it will happen to you. It will take time, okay? It will take time, but the laws of nature and the laws of the universe, that's how it works, where you will find the people, you will find the relationship, you will find your community when you are being yourself. And that's the kind of community you should want to belong with anyway. Because it's really hard to wear a mask and try to fit in, because eventually the mask is going to drain you, or the mask will fall, or you're just going to become resentful of who you are because you're not even being your authentic self. That in the end, it's all just going to come crashing down, and you're going to be the victim. So don't try to fit in. When you start validating yourself, realize that you don't need to fit in. You need to find a place where you belong, and you can only do that when you're being the most authentic expression of you. And let me tell you, authentic doesn't have to mean that you are perfect. Authentic doesn't mean that you are always saying the right thing. Authentic doesn't mean you have to be diplomatic about anything. Authentic just means you are you in all your light, but also all of your shadow. And you're embracing your humanness, and we're all human, and that's okay. Actually, what I've noticed from this podcast is that the more vulnerable that I've been through my posts and my episodes, the more real connection that it makes with real people also going through that or been through that. If you're not being your total real self, one, people can tell that you're just playing an act, and two, it's not really going to resonate with anyone in a deeper level. So that's why authenticity is important. Authenticity is important because it brings the right people to you, and you actually enjoy those people because they are actually more in alignment with who you really are, and the conversations just flow, and the energy is just uplifting, and it just feels good. A princess will say, I need validation. A queen will say, I am here to serve and not to prove. That's another thing. When you are validated completely of yourself, you know who you are, you don't do things anymore for yourself. You want to help other people, and that's how I feel about this podcast and this page on my social media, because I feel like what I do here is not for me anymore. What I do here, and my intention with this podcast, is to purely just help whoever this reaches, and whoever my posts reach, and whoever my episodes reach. I just want to serve you, and I get my validation from just knowing that I'm helping somebody out there. Even though a lot of times I don't really know who that is, because a lot of the posts that I do, it reaches a lot of people, and a lot of people do respond, and they say like nice things about how I've helped them. But I know that it reaches a lot of people, and I know that at least one person walks away from anything that I do on here. I feel happy, and that's my way of kind of bringing validation to myself, and that's my way of creating and serving, but not necessarily wanting to be liked in the process, not necessarily wanting my content to blow up exponentially, but hoping that my content helps somebody. A princess always wants to be right, okay? And a queen just wants peace. And that's really going to be kind of like the last point I want to talk about here, which is peace. End of the day, yes, we want to be happy, but we know that happiness is fleeting. It's not going to be here forever. We know that high moments, big wins, they're great, but we also know that anytime there's a high, there is an impending low. That's just how it is. That's the nature. Nature always seeks balance. So anytime you have a really high, you are going to face a really low, and just making peace with that. Making peace with the fact that we're human, making peace with the fact that we are not only our light selves, but we are also our shadow selves. We are disgusting and we do some really gross things. Our bodies do some really gross things, and we smell, and we are made up of biology, which is not always beautiful and perfect, and that's okay. And being able to find peace in all of that comes when you know how to validate yourself, when you know who you are, when you know how to be yourself without seeking permission to be yourself. So, with that, I hope this episode was able to help you in some way. Follow me on social media, follow me on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all those good things. And if this episode helped you in some way and you think you were able to get something out of this, you can either comment, you can email me, message me. Be really nice to hear from you and hear your perspective. And especially if you have an opposing perspective or you want to add something to this, I would love to hear directly from you. And with that, I hope you have a really good rest of the week. And I will see you next week with another episode. Bye, guys.